You have some mindset where challenge is not an obstacle for you, where difficulties in life is nothing that stops you, but a challenge in life, a conflict that comes up. Everything that makes you feel uncomfortable at the first glance, it's nothing that is depressing you. It is something where you actually realize that is the next area of my growth. Because it's heartbreaking, because it is so heartbreaking, because it goes so deep, it carries the potential for the highest transformation. So this type of change of perspective, if you want to see it bad, it's going to be bad. But if the circumstances right now are like this, and with the mindset which is in your hands, you can still transform it somehow. The highest transformation can happen. And this is, I think, the value. This is why I like so much in the Buddhist teachings. Number one sentence is, with our thoughts, we create the world. The circumstances are not going to change. What happened to you is not going to change. But dependent on how you are tuning your thoughts, something about it is going to change. This is why the power of the mind is so important.
Spread love, man.
Welcome back, everybody. Ready to dive in? Today, we're tackling self-mastery.
Ooh, self-mastery.
But not the, the typical, just think positive and everything will be great stuff.
Yeah, no, not the...
We're going deeper.
Definitely deeper.
We're looking at how thoughts actually shape our reality and what we can actually do to really master our minds. So,
practical steps.
Yeah, practical steps. And we've got some really fascinating sources for this deep dive.
Oh, excellent.
One thing that really jumped out at me was this idea that, those tough challenges, often they bring the biggest opportunities for transformation.
That's interesting.
Kind of counterintuitive, right?
It is, yeah. It is.
Yeah.
It's a concept that comes up in a lot of different traditions, though.
Oh, really?
Philosophical and spiritual traditions.
Yeah.
The idea isn't to, go looking for suffering.
Right.
Of course.
Not like that.
But to see that the difficult stuff we all go through,
Yeah.
it can be like this really powerful fuel for growth.
Yeah. It's like that saying, smooth seas never made a skilled sailor.
Exactly.
You gotta go through it to learn from it.
You got to get tossed around a bit.
And our sources also talk about this idea of balance.
Yeah.
Not forcing ourselves to be positive all the time.
Right.
But acknowledging both the light and the shadow.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's like embracing the full human experience,
Yeah.
Trying to pretend the tough emotions aren't there.
Right.
That can actually do more harm than good in the long run.
Yeah, you gotta feel it to heal it, as they say.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
more about learning to work with those emotions with awareness without letting them run the show.
Not letting them define us.
Right.
Yeah. And that reminds me of something else from the sources.
Okay.
This concept of fullness as a measure of contentment.
Oh.
Could you unpack that a bit for us?
Yeah, so fullness, it's a really interesting idea. In this context, it's about feeling a deep sense of alignment and purpose, even when things aren't perfect.
Okay.
It's different from that, fleeting happiness you get from achievements or, material things.
Okay.
It's a much deeper sense of peace and wholeness that comes from living in line with your values.
I like that.
Think of it like a cup filled to the brim with water.
Okay.
That's fullness. It doesn't mean there won't be ripples or waves on the surface, but the cup itself remains full.
Okay, that's a great analogy. I like that. So fullness isn't about being happy 24/7.
Right.
It's about a deeper sense of contentment that comes from within.
Exactly. It's realizing that life has ups and downs.
Yeah.
But we can find peace amidst the chaos.
We can find that stability.
Yeah.
The sources also touch on this Buddhist teaching.
Okay.
That with our thoughts, we create the world. I found that really thought-provoking.
Yeah.
But also I wondered, doesn't that kind of ignore the reality of external circumstances?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And it is important to get the nuance of that teaching. It's not saying external reality doesn't exist.
Right.
Or that we can just manifest whatever we want by thinking about it. It's more about the power of our perceptions and interpretation.
Okay.
In shaping our actual experience. Two people could be in the same objective situation.
Yeah.
But their thoughts and beliefs about that situation will determine how they experience it.
Totally.
And ultimately how they respond.
So it's about choosing how we frame those circumstances.
Exactly.
And recognizing we have more agency than we might think.
Absolutely.
I'm also curious about this idea of hope.
Okay.
One of the sources asks this question. How do we keep going when we lose hope?
It's a big one.
Yeah.
The source makes a distinction between fleeting motivation and true hope.
Right.
Motivation can come and go based on external factors.
Oh, so if I'm easily discouraged and give up on something, maybe it wasn't true hope.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It might have just been a passing desire.
Just a wish.
Think about a time you achieved something others thought was impossible.
Okay.
What pushed you forward? Was it a wish or was it something deeper?
Yeah.
A conviction that wouldn't let you quit?
That fire in your belly.
Exactly. That's the stuff.
That just won't go out no matter what obstacles are in front of you.
That's it.
I like that.
Yeah, that deep belief in yourself and your vision. That's powerful stuff.
And speaking of powerful, one of the things that surprised me in the source material was this idea about discipline.
Oh.
That it's not necessarily the end goal,
Right.
but more of a tool.
Interesting.
It seemed a bit counterintuitive.
It is a fascinating concept.
Yeah.
The sources suggest that discipline,
Okay.
it's kind of like martial arts training.
Oh.
It requires a lot of rigor
Right.
and consistency, but ultimately it leads to greater freedom and mastery.
So instead of thinking of discipline as like this rigid set of rules,
Right?
we should see it as a practice that helps us cultivate self-awareness and control.
Exactly. It's about creating a framework that supports our growth and allows us to tap into a deeper level of awareness.
Okay.
Think of it like building a house. You need a solid foundation and structure.
Right. To create something beautiful and lasting.
Yeah. Discipline is that foundation.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And what about this idea of retreat?
Yeah.
That keeps coming up. The sources emphasize it doesn't have to be like a literal retreat.
No, not at all.
To a monastery or anything.
It's more about creating space in our lives for introspection and reflection. Could be something as simple as taking a few minutes each day to meditate.
Right.
Going for a walk in nature.
Yeah.
Even just sitting in silence.
Yeah, just being with yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The key is to disconnect from the noise.
Yeah, all the distractions.
Yeah, of daily life.
Yeah.
And really tune in to your inner landscape.
That's so important these days. So easy to get caught up.
Yeah. You feel like you're constantly plugged in, just reacting to everything.
And that constant reactivity, it can block us from accessing that deeper wisdom and clarity that's already within us.
That we all have.
We all have it. Retreat in whatever form it takes.
Yeah.
It allows us to step back, recharge, and reconnect with our true selves.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
The sources also talk about finding that sweet spot
Okay.
between effort and ease.
Yeah, balance.
Balance.
That's crucial for self-mastery.
Yeah.
It's about understanding your own rhythms, needs,
Yeah.
knowing when to push yourself and when to rest and recharge.
Yeah. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly.
So self-care is an essential part of this.
It is.
And it sounds like it's not just about, bubble baths and face masks,
No.
but taking care of ourselves on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally.
Absolutely. Self-care looks different for everyone.
It's about figuring out what truly nourishes you, whether it's spending time in nature,
Yeah.
creative hobbies,
Okay.
connecting with loved ones,
Right.
or simply getting enough sleep.
It's about being intentional with how we spend our time and energy,
Yes.
making choices that support our well-being.
Absolutely.
And it seems like this balance isn't static.
No, it's not.
It's something we need to constantly reassess, adjust.
That's right. Life is always changing.
Yeah.
Our needs change.
Right.
What worked for us last year might not work today.
Totally.
It's an ongoing process
Okay.
of self-discovery and experimentation.
Figuring out what works for us
Yeah. Figuring out what brings you into balance.
in this moment.
Exactly.
So it's not about striving for some perfect,
Right.
unattainable state of balance.
No, it's not about perfection.
But about being adaptable, responsive to our own needs.
Exactly. And that requires honesty with ourselves about what's working and what's not.
Yeah, just being real with ourselves.
And being open to feedback from ourselves and from others, making adjustments as noted.
I also wanted to touch on gratitude.
Okay. Yeah.
The sources present it as more than just a feel-good practice.
Right.
They suggest it's a powerful tool for shifting our perspective.
It really is.
Yeah.
Gratitude is a profound practice. It can completely transform our experience.
Yeah.
It's about shifting our focus from what we lack
Okay.
to what we have.
Okay.
Appreciating the good in our lives, even when things are tough.
Even amidst the challenges.
Yeah, recognizing that even in difficulty, there's always something to be grateful for.
So instead of dwelling on what's wrong or what we're missing, we can choose to focus on what's right,
exactly,
what we already have.
And the more we practice gratitude, the more we start to notice those little moments of joy, beauty that we might have otherwise missed.
So it's like training our minds to see the good.
It really is.
Yeah, and that can have a ripple effect.
Absolutely.
On our whole outlook on life.
It changes everything.
And something else that struck me was this idea of relationships as ecosystems.
Yes.
Such a powerful metaphor.
It is. It emphasizes the interconnectedness of all things, our relationships. Whether they're romantic, familial, or platonic, they're not just separate entities. They're dynamic systems that are constantly evolving, influencing one another.
So it's not just about what we get out of a relationship, but also about how we contribute to the health and vitality of that whole ecosystem.
It's about recognizing that our actions, our choices, they impact the whole system. Think of it like a garden. You can't just focus on one plant. And expect the whole garden to thrive.
You got to tend to the whole thing.
You need to tend the soil, water the plants, create an environment that supports growth and harmony.
So in a relationship, it's about being mindful of how our words, actions affect the other person and the dynamic between us.
Absolutely. And it's about understanding that relationships, like gardens, they require care and attention.
You got to nurture them.
You do. They need nurturing.
Communication.
Yes, communication is key.
And a willingness to adapt. And evolve over time.
Relationships are always changing.
Now, the sources also talk about resonance in relationships. What exactly does that mean?
So resonance, it's that feeling of deep connection, alignment that you experience when you're with someone who really gets you. Is that feeling of being seen, heard, understood on a soul level.
Like finding a piece of ourselves reflected back to it.
Exactly. It's incredibly affirming. Validating.
So it's not just about shared interests.
No.
Common ground.
It's deeper than that. It's about a deeper level of understanding, connection.
And that kind of connection can be so nourishing.
It is. It can be incredibly supportive. It helps us feel more confident, secure.
I'm curious, how can we cultivate more of that resonance in our relationships? Is it something that just happens naturally?
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
Some people naturally resonate with each other. But we can also consciously cultivate it.
Okay. How do we do that?
It starts with being present, attentive in our interactions. Putting down our phones, making eye contact, really listening to what the other person is saying.
It's about creating that space where they feel safe, supported.
To share their true selves.
And being vulnerable ourselves.
Exactly.
Being willing to open up, share our own thoughts and feelings.
It can be scary. But it's also the key to creating deeper intimacy.
So it's about showing up authentically. Taking risks to connect on a deeper level.
And those risks are often rewarded with deeper intimacy. Connection, love.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It seems like relationships can be a powerful catalyst for growth, self-discovery.
Absolutely.
But the sources also acknowledge that not all relationships are created equal.
That's true. Some relationships are more supportive. Nourishing than others.
So it's important to be mindful of the company we keep. Cultivate relationships that uplift us. Empower us.
Choose wisely.
What about those challenging relationships that we can't always avoid, like family members, coworkers?
Even those challenging relationships can offer valuable lessons. Opportunities for growth. They can force us to confront our own shadows, work through unresolved patterns and beliefs.
It's like that saying, the people who trigger us the most are often our greatest teachers.
Exactly. They push us to become more self-aware, develop stronger boundaries, cultivate greater compassion, understanding.
So it's about approaching all our relationships, the easy and the difficult ones, with a sense of curiosity, willingness to learn.
Absolutely.
And grow.
And remembering that relationships are a two-way street. We need to be willing to both give and receive support, feedback.
Right. Love showing up authentically, open to connection, even when it's tough.
Even when it's hard.
Yeah.
So many powerful insights about relationships.
Yeah. They play such a crucial role.
They do.
In this whole journey of self-mastery.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our relationships are a reflection of ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and a constant opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
Connection. Evolution.
And speaking of evolution, I want to circle back to this idea of mind over matter. That Buddhist teaching that with our thoughts we create the world really got me thinking.
It's powerful stuff.
It is.
It's a powerful concept, but it can be hard to grasp sometimes.
Yeah, it does have some nuance to it for sure.
Okay.
It's not suggesting that we have like magical control over the external world, you know?
Okay.
It's more about highlighting how our thoughts shape our perception of reality and influence our reactions.
So it's not about denying external events,
Right.
but about recognizing the power of our own interpretations.
Exactly.
Wow.
Imagine two people experience the same difficult situation, okay? One person might spiral into negativity while the other finds a way to learn and grow from it.
Right.
The difference is their mindset, their internal dialogue.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do we actually shift our mindset then? Are there like practical steps we can take to make those changes?
Well, mindfulness practices like meditation can be incredibly helpful by simply observing our thoughts without judgment.
Okay.
We create space between those thoughts and our reactions.
That space allows us to make more conscious choices
Right.
about how we respond to challenges.
So it's like hitting the pause button on those autopilot reactions.
Yes.
And giving ourselves a chance to choose a different path.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Instead of being controlled by our thoughts and emotions, we become the observer. That shift in perspective allows us to break free from those habitual patterns and create new, more empowering ways of being.
That's so important. So it seems like self-mastery then. It's not just about positive thinking, but about developing a deeper awareness of our minds, how they work.
Absolutely. It's a process of self-discovery, of understanding your strengths and weaknesses, your triggers, your patterns. And it's an ongoing journey, not a destination.
Right.
There will always be new challenges and opportunities to grow.
I love this idea of self-mastery as a lifelong journey.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off needing to achieve some perfect state of enlightenment. It encourages continuous learning, exploration.
And within that journey, there's incredible potential for transformation. As we cultivate self-awareness, we start to make choices that are more in line with our values and goals.
Right.
We become more resilient in the face of challenges. More present in our daily lives.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into self-mastery, what's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with?
I'd say self-mastery. It's not about achieving some unattainable state of perfection. It's about cultivating a deeper understanding of yourself, your thoughts, your emotions, your patterns. It's about recognizing the power you have to choose how you respond to life's challenges. To create a life that is truly aligned with your values and aspirations.
Such a powerful reminder that we're not just victims of circumstance. We have the ability to shape our own experiences, to create a life full of meaning and purpose.
Absolutely.
And it all starts with mastering our own mind. It does.